Hi everybody, I'm Elise from the blog LePetitSaintCrochet.com, and today I'm doing things a little bit differently. So instead of my typical tutorial style video, I'm doing more of a vlog slash podcast style, more like we're just sitting down having a chit chat kind of a thing. I'm going to talk about some things that I've got going on, some works in progress, some finished projects, an antique shop haul, and a lot of other things in between. I was an only child and had a very, very vivid imagination. So I'm asking you to dig deep and find that inner child of yours that is ready to play pretend. Let's pretend that you just stopped by my house. I answer the door. I'm like, oh, hey, come on in. I've been waiting for you. So grab you a cup of tea or maybe make a pot of coffee and let's meet back down here so that we can get started and have a little chit chat like a girl chat. So let's talk finished objects first. This is my one and only for this week. I finished this little custom order for a fox. I think he turned out adorable. So he's got the little shoes, the little sneakers with the little laces, and he has these cute little shorts on and this adorable little car motif on the sweater. So this is a pattern from Little Cotton Rabbits. If you don't already know, I am obsessed with them, and I really think that they are some of the most beautiful knitted toys out there. A lady that I follow on Instagram, and she follows me back, actually requested this. She bought the Norwegian fox that I did a few months ago, and she really wanted that because she has a little girl coming really soon in the next couple of months, and she wanted that to be a gift from her son to her daughter. So she loved it so much, she asked me if I would make a boy fox for her so that her little boy would have one too, and I thought that was really, really sweet. That's something that I've actually been really surprised with the Etsy shop, is when I'm getting these custom orders, there are so many different reasons that people want them, and it is really, really neat to be able to work with people to discover what they want, why they want it. It's just been really a delight to create things for people that they really want. They're really one of a kind because they're so personalized. I just think he turned out really, really adorable. I love this car motif. The only issue I had was that in the middle of knitting the sweater part, I ran out of this beautiful gray color, which is the Debbie Bliss Baby Cashmerino. So I had to quickly place an order with Love Crafts. They're my go-to. I love them so much. And I ended up I had a coupon. I had a 20% off coupon because they always send coupons, but I paid for the 2-day express shipping because I needed this to be done really fast because, you know, I want people to get their toys in the expected time. I got it, I finished it, and I just think I really love the gray. I think the gray looks so beautiful with the copper color. This is the Barocco Vintage. You've heard me talk about it before, but I just really love how it all turned out, and I think the red looks really beautiful with the copper as well. And I love all these colors. I love how it all turned out. And I don't know if you can really see, but I gave him little eyebrows. I've been kind of experimenting with that a little bit, and I just think, I don't know, I just love giving their little faces just some expression and just do something a little bit different. Let's talk about works in progress. So right now I have one real work in progress. No, that's not true. If I'm really, really honest and I think about how many works in progress I have, I really do have 3. I am currently working on a pig for a custom order in the Etsy shop. I have the granny squares from Attic 24, the Harmony blanket, and I shared that last week in the video. Then I'm not sure that I have ever shared this project with you, and that's because this has been a project that has been in my work in progress pile for quite some time now, and unfortunately I'm afraid it may stay in that perpetual work in progress land for I don't really know how long. So this is Frida's Flowers. This is by the designer Janie Crow. She is so talented. I absolutely love all of her blanket designs, her shawl designs. They're spectacular, really, really spectacular. This is all inspired by the Mexican artist Frida Kahlo, and it is absolutely spectacular. It is so gorgeous. I have enjoyed working on this project so much. But here's the problem. This is the problem. This is using cotton yarn. Now you can use whatever yarn you want, but when I purchased the yarn pack, I ended up buying the cotton yarn because at the time I really loved that. I ended up finding out that it was a trigger for my tendonitis. I've really struggled with tendonitis in my elbow, and I found out that cotton is a major trigger. Now I'm gonna do a video all about cotton yarn, why I'm not using it anymore, and some of the reasons behind that in a future YouTube video. So be on the lookout for that, especially if this is something that maybe you're thinking, because I think there are a lot of crocheters and knitters out there that have pain, especially if you do this very frequently. You spend, hours a week crocheting or knitting, that you have some pain and maybe you don't realize what could be causing it. And I went to physical therapy. I had to have injections. I did a lot because I wanted to get better. And I still do struggle with it some. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks in a future video all about that, and cotton yarn is a huge trigger for me. As much as I hate to say, I don't know that I will be returning to this project anytime soon. I have thought about just getting a yarn pack that is not cotton, and I think I may do that in the future because I really think that it is just spectacular. And I've only done the first 3 motifs. They get more and more advanced and more intricate and beautiful, and I'm telling you, it's one of the most beautiful blankets I've ever seen. If you look the hashtag Frida's Flowers on Instagram, you will see that. I'll leave a link to the Janie Crow site where you can look exactly at this pattern because it is so gorgeous. There's actually a lady here on YouTube that does tutorials for every single one of these hexagons, and it really helped me. She is Danish, I think, and her English is fantastic, and she goes through each and every step, and it's very helpful. So I will look for that as well and link that below in case you are interested in looking at that as well. I'm at my favorite place to shop. It is the Depot at Gibson Mill. It's a huge antique mall. It's actually the largest in the Southeast. I don't even know how many thousands of square feet it is, but I'm gonna go in here. I have a gift card from Christmas and I'm so excited to see what I can find. It's really a hit or miss kind of a place. You either find something wonderful or it's kind of like I don't know, but you gotta dig around and look at everything, and I'm gonna take you guys with me and show you some of my favorite things, and maybe I'll bring something home. I have a gift card. So today was an awesome day at the Depot. I got just a couple of things, but I really got good deals. I found things that are going to be very useful, and I found something that was super inspirational for me, and I'm really excited to show them to you. So the first thing that I found was this old picnic basket. I'm not really sure what era it's from. I'm guessing something like the 50s, 60s or so, but it's got this beautiful red plaid with some black and yellow in it. I just love it. And this is gonna be a great place. I'm actually gonna keep Jersey's leash and his poop bags and some dog and cat toys in here because I have something right now and it's just kind of a jumbled mess, and I love that it has a top and we're not gonna be able to see it, and it's adorable. So the next thing I found was this old tin, and actually I'm not really sure how old this is either, but it is metal and it's a little worn looking, so maybe it's old, maybe it's not. But this is my patron saint of Les Petites Saints Crochet. Her name is Saint Therese of Lisieux, and when I saw it, I thought, oh, this will actually look really pretty in my craft room because it's got some of these beautiful colors in there, and I'm just really excited to put that in there. So the last thing that I found was this old metal beautiful box. It actually says that it is from the Pennsylvania Sugar Company, and I love this because it's just a big old rusty box, and I'm going to use it to put my son's He's not gonna like this when I tell him, but he's gonna put his old stinky chalky gymnastics bag in, and there's also some other random things, and there's Sports Illustrated magazines and all these things. This is what this is going to go in, and to me, I don't know if you get this or not, but the rustier, the more banged up, the chipped up, the more I love it. And I got this for 50% off, so it was only 25 bucks, and I love it. It's gonna go great in that space. I put the little felt sticky things, pads on the bottom of it so that it doesn't scratch my floor at all, and I just think I love this so much. And it's heavy. It's really, really, really heavy. I'm gonna need to vacuum out the inside because it's kind of gross in there, but it's not bad. It's gonna be awesome. So I just wrote a blog post all about the Faroe Islands. Now you may be thinking, what in the world does this have to do with anything with crocheting and knitting? There are two really good reasons. The first of all, the Faroe Islands have an incredible history with knitting. They are a group of islands up in the North Atlantic, and they're equidistant from Iceland, Norway, and northern Scotland. So literally it's this little group of islands right in the middle of the ocean, and they live in a very cold climate, the inhabitants there, and they developed a beautiful way of making shawls. It is absolutely gorgeous. They look almost like a butterfly wings. That's how they're described, almost butterfly wings, and they sit up on the shoulders so that it doesn't slip down. They also have their own unique colorwork style that is similar to Icelandic and Scandinavian colorwork. It's absolutely beautiful. But what's interesting about all this, and why this has a connection with little old me right here in North Carolina, is that I connected with this beautiful lady named Lee on Instagram. She ended up buying one of my crochet dolls, and she had a daughter who was in the United States who could pick it up, so I shipped it to the US, and her daughter brought it back for her younger daughter for Christmas last year. And she and I have just connected, and I have loved getting to know her. She's actually an American who ended up marrying a Faroese sailor. How romantic is that, actually? She moved to that remote part of the world many, many years ago, and they've raised their 4 daughters there. But one of the most interesting things is that her mother-in-law, one of the first things she asked Lee was, do you know how to knit? And Lee really discovered living there how much knitting is a part of their culture. It is a way for women to gather, to get to know one another. It's a social time, and there's a beautiful history around it. So the women would knit sweaters for their husbands because the main way that they made money and they lived off the land was fishing. So the men would go out to sea and the women would knit their sweaters, of course for warmth, because it is very, very cold up there. Also, one of the things, I watched this incredible documentary, I will link that below as well, because it really gives you an idea of the landscape and what it is like there. It's absolutely incredible. I highly recommend watching this documentary. But one of the things that the lady said there, who was a knitwear designer right there in the Faroe Islands, is that the women could recognize their husbands from very far distances, not because they could see their face or could tell their structure, their body, but they could recognize their knitwork, their color work patterns from far off. And I thought that was so amazing, because you know what, maybe you can't see your husband far off, but you know what, you're going to recognize that sweater that you worked hours and hours and hours on. You're going to recognize that design. But the most interesting connection that Lee and I both have is that I actually know her sister in real life. Now, we did not know that initially when we connected on Instagram, but her sister actually lives in my town and we go to the same church. Is that not so crazy? It's sort of like that game, I don't know if you've ever played it, the Degrees of Separation. That actually kind of blew my mind away, that there was somebody so far away. We connected on Instagram only to find out that her sister and I knew each other and lived in the very same small town in North Carolina. So a couple of my favorite YouTube channels really show a little bit more of their daily life. 2 of those channels are Dawn's Days. I love her. She is a British woman who is actually living in the Netherlands, and she shares her crafting life, her real life, and she's had some health issues, and she's really candid about all of that. And it really makes you feel like you're sitting down with a friend, with a close friend, and I love watching her videos. So I'll leave a link for her channel as well in the description box below. Go subscribe to her because she is a wonderful lady, very warm and genuine. And I also love watching Allie from Little Drops of Wonderful. She is also a British lady. I love the British ladies. They're just, I don't know, there's something really nice about them. She has 2 daughters and her husband, and they live in England, and it's just really beautiful. She's a very crafty lady as well. She loves to knit and crochet, and she shares all those projects, but she also shares what's going on in her life, and I love that. So I decided to share a little bit about my life with you guys, as I'm just inspired by these ladies. So I don't know if you're gonna like this or not. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know some of this stuff. I'm kind of obsessed with my dog and my cat. So my dog Jersey Boy and our rescue kitten Olive are getting along so well, and I really credit it to kind of this idea that I had. I'd always heard that dogs bond with who they walk with. So I decided when Olive, we had only had her maybe a couple of weeks, so she was probably like 8 weeks old at this point. I decided to get a pet stroller and take her for walks, because we walk Jersey every single day. We go on, I think it's about a 1.5 mile, 2 mile walk, and he loves it. That's our afternoon. That's what we do every afternoon. And I thought, I wondered if we brought her along, if he would start to realize that she was part of the pack, she's part of the family. So now Olive goes with us as long as the weather is okay. I don't take her out because she's still pretty young. If it's below 50, 45 or 50 degrees, I don't bring her because it is winter time here now. And we'll have to see in the summertime if it's really warm. Jersey doesn't like to walk if it's hot, so that's not going to be too much of an issue. So now I take Jersey and Olive on a walk every single day, and I get, most people in the neighborhood know now, oh, she's walking a cat, because they have stopped me over the last couple of months to say, do you have a baby in there? What's in that stroller? And they're always surprised to say, oh my goodness, there's a little kitten in there. But now Olive absolutely loves to go in her stroller. She loves going for her walks. She's always looking around. A lot of times she falls asleep. I just think she likes the fresh air. And yes, I realize that makes me a crazy cat lady, and I'm embracing it, and I'm okay with that. The other thing I'm really interested right now in is cooking, making sourdough bread, fermenting things. I'm really interested in that. And I just purchased this course from Jill Winger from the Prairie Homestead. She has a course called the Heritage Cooking Crash Course. It was pretty inexpensive. It was something like $67. I'll leave a link for you in the description box below in case you're interested in looking at it. It goes through step by step how to do some of these really old-fashioned cooking techniques, which I just don't know some of these things. So I'm really interested in doing sourdough bread. That is kind of like my goal right now, is to be able to do that. Now, I did have a starter, and I'm pretty sure I completely messed it up. It was gross. It wasn't, I know that sourdough is supposed to smell really tangy, and there is an odor to it. This one did not smell like that. It smelled like vomit. So I ended up scrapping it. I'm going to start over tomorrow, but I did get my cast iron enamel Dutch oven from Lodge. I am so excited. It's beautiful. It is so heavy, and that is a recommendation from my friend Katie from Heart's Content Farmhouse. If you do not follow her here on YouTube, do it, because she is the queen. She knows how to bake bread. She makes soap. She is absolutely incredible. So I'm really interested in doing those things. I want to learn how to make sauerkraut. I don't know. It's, as I've gotten older, I'm more and more interested in cooking, and I want to learn how to cook things from scratch that my grandparents and my great-grandparents would have done it that way. I'm just really interested in it. I live in suburbia. I don't live on a farm, but I am obsessed with farm life and doing things the way they did back then, and just connecting to those old-fashioned ways. Thank you so much for stopping by the Le Petit Saint Crochet YouTube channel today. I hope you enjoyed this video today and talking all about knitting and crocheting and amigurumi and running a handmade business. And I hope you enjoyed me sharing just a little bit about my interests outside of knitting and crochet. And if you did, would you please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel? That would be awesome. And I will see you back here next week.